Disney World is not as it seems. So where in the parks are you going to find underground hideaways, artificial moonlight, and abandoned islands? Find out today here on DFB Guide. Y'all know I love these videos. I can't wait. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Not all of Disney World's big achievements and projects are visible to you and me, and not all of Disney's big mysteries are discussed on a regular basis. Some are actively pushed down and kept on the DL. So we're here peeling back the curtain for you to expose all those underground questions that you might have had about Disney World, all in a single jam-packed video, while also giving you a few major insider tips along the way that'll help out those very seen parts of your upcoming Disney World trip. I do love videos like this. This kind of stuff is so much fun because I'm a giant Disney dork, so I hope you guys like it too. So what's actually in those utilidor tunnels of Magic Kingdom? Well, as you explore Magic Kingdom, minding your own business while you ride It's a Small World and watch the Dapper Dance and chow down on crispy and savory cheeseburger spring rolls, there's a whole buzz of activity going on right underneath you that you never know about, unless someone told you. Hi, I'm someone. The Magic Kingdom park that you know and love is actually on the second floor of this particular section of Disney World. The first floor runs right below your feet and contains a series of service tunnels called the utilidors. These tunnels house all kinds of equipment and storage areas and even a Subway sub shop. Oh yeah, these utilidors also exist for cast members who need a break to refuel, get some air, and relax before getting back out there and braving the crowd. So of course you'd find a Subway sub shop here. Cast members need to eat fresh too, you know. The tunnels also help cast members get to their designated land without spoiling the magic, which is the main reason why Walt himself wanted the utilidors to be a thing in the first place. You see, back when Disneyland first opened up, Walt was majorly put off when he saw a Frontierland cast member wandering through the streets of Tomorrowland to get to their station, which he felt ruined the seamlessness between each of the lands that he'd worked so hard to create. So when Magic Kingdom was under construction, Walt knew he wanted to avoid breaking that immersion with his Florida park, which is why the utilidors came to be and why you're never going to see a Haunted Mansion cast member wandering around Fantasyland, and vice versa. It's also the perfect way for Mickey Mouse and friends to get from place to place around the park without being swarmed by guests. We've got a few former cast members on the DFB squad who gave us the 411 on what it's really like to wander this underground system of tunnels, and it's not really that glamorous. They've said the smell is distinct here, but not necessarily trash scented, which I promise is important to know for a behind-the-scenes secret we're going to talk about a little later on. The Mouseketeria, which many CMs simply refer to as the Mouse, is where you'll find the secret Subway sub shop in the tunnels, as well as other grab-and-go foods and drinks like chicken tenders, pizza, and numerous breakfast options for those early morning shifts. And one of our team members specifically pointed out that she'd been honked at in the utilidors on a few occasions because service vehicles are also trying to quickly make their way through the underground tunnels too. There's also a designated area in the tunnels called a glow cage, where CMs keep all their stock for bubble and glow wands. Apparently it looks like a giant prison cell filled with boxes and boxes of these wands, which actually makes me feel bad that I've dissed them on several occasions as one of the worst things to buy at Disney World. Poor things, they are all locked up in cages. But Magic Kingdom isn't the only park with a utilidor system. Epcot actually has one too. Epcot has its own tunnel system underneath part of World Discovery, although it's way smaller than the one at Magic Kingdom. The tunnel at Epcot is U-shaped, and it stretches about 700 feet only, and it's generally used to make deliveries to shops and restaurants in World Discovery. As a regular day guest, you're never going to see these utilidors or be able to walk through them, but if you book a Keys to the Kingdom tour for Magic Kingdom, that's going to be a major game changer. The Keys to the Kingdom tour is a 5-hour walking guided experience offering behind-the-scenes access to some of Disney World's hidden areas, including the Magic Kingdom utilidors. The Keys to the Kingdom tour is $114 per guest. This does not include your theme park admission for the day, but it does include lunch and a commemorative gift. You can make Keys to the Kingdom reservations on the Disney World website or through the My Disney Experience app. Something else we get asked a lot about Disney World: does it ever really sleep? Well, Disney World is kind of like the Energizer Bunny. It just keeps going and going and going, even when everybody else is fast asleep. But we can thank the cast members for that. Many cast members are hired to work late into the night and early morning hours to make sure everything is in tip-top shape for the next day. When the sun goes down, the park lights up with cast members cleaning attractions, taking care of the landscaping, putting up decorations, maintaining the rides, and maybe even helping the park slip into something a bit more festive. I mean, who else is going to deck the halls with boughs of holly if not for the heart and soul of Disney World itself? Again, seeing a place like Magic Kingdom at 3 a.m. is not something you're going to be knocking off your bucket list anytime soon, unless you were part of one of those 24-hour events Disney used to host back in 2015 as a way to kick off the summer season and to promote their newest rides and movies. But yeah, that probably isn't happening anytime soon. So the closest you can get to pulling an all-nighter in Disney's Florida parks is through the after-hours events. During Disney's after-hours events, you can enjoy attractions, entertainment, character greetings for an extra 3 hours after the parks close for everyone else. And because the capacity for these special events is super limited, you're not going to have to worry about lines that you normally come across during the regular park day. Per the release of this video, we're still waiting to hear about more Magic Kingdom After Hours dates, but you can still book After Hours events for Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and Typhoon Lagoon. If you do book tickets for one of these limited events, don't forget that you can still enter the parks as early as 7 p.m. to get a few daylight hours in before the nighttime festivities commence. This will also give you the chance to catch a nighttime spectacular like Epcot Forever or Fantasmic without also needing to pay for a regular day ticket to do so. So let's talk about behind the scenes of Disney World's fireworks. Would you believe me if I said those happily ever after fireworks don't all actually happen right behind Cinderella Castle? That's the power of illusion. Some fireworks, including those small flares near the castle, are shot from within the park. Fun fact, the Fantasyland shops have a sprinkler system installed on the rooftops, which are always turned on right before the Magic Kingdom fireworks. This way, any debris that drops down from these in-park pyrotechnics won't become a potential fire hazard. And that's also why you'll notice all that water pouring off of these roofs at the end of the day, even when it's not raining. But other fireworks, like the bigger ones, are actually launched from a fireworks bunker located outside of the park at 1440 Floridian Way. This location is in the back, way past Fantasyland. You'll notice the distance between the fireworks and the castle a lot better while you're dining at California Grill, located on the 15th story of Disney's Contemporary Resort. Cali Grill is a signature restaurant that not only has quality prix-fixe dining, but also a private balcony where you can watch Happily Ever After from a whole new vantage point and without all the crowds. You'll need to book an advanced dining reservation 60 days before your trip to guarantee a table here, since it's an awfully popular spot, but it also never hurts to try to grab a spot at the bar for limited apps and a full drink menu, since bar seating is first come, first served, but you do have to be 21 and older to sit here. So here's the question I'm always asking. Why can't we live in Epcot like Walt really wanted us to? Well, Epcot is by far and away one of my favorite Disney parks. It's got the festivals, it's got the 11 country pavilions, it's got the prettiest girl in school, the Epcot Ball, or Spaceship Earth for y'all planning on correcting me in the comments. But this wasn't the Epcot we were supposed to fall in love with. Epcot wasn't even supposed to be a theme park. The acronym for Epcot was originally created by Walt Disney and stands for Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. Walt's vision for Epcot was that it would be a functioning city with 20,000 residents, which companies could use as a testing ground for their latest technologies. This neighborhood was going to be legit. There would have been business and commerce districts, a high-rise city, a convention center, and just an all-around utopian futuristic society of sorts. In fact, when you ride the People Mover over in Magic Kingdom, you can see the OG prototype for what Epcot was supposed to be, and you always get to ride People Mover, which is a privilege in and of itself. Unfortunately, when Walt passed away in 1966, the company shifted focus away from Epcot completely. But when Disney executives decided to revisit Epcot in the mid-1970s, it made more financial sense to focus on theme parks rather than big-picture cities. But that doesn't mean all of Walt's ideas didn't transfer over to Epcot. Actually, Imagineers were originally pretty split on what Epcot's theme park focus was going to be. One with futuristic concepts and technology that Walt would have appreciated, or one with international representations for dining, shopping, and entertainment that, again, Walt would have appreciated. In the end, the Imagineers had a big aha moment and decided to smoosh the two together to make the Epcot we know and love today. Epcot went from being a world of tomorrow and into a place heavily influenced by the World's Fair, which had majorly inspired Walt Disney and his theme park undertakings in the first place. Epcot was divided into those two main sections. The first was Future World, which we now refer to as World Discovery, an area dedicated to technology, progress, and mankind's relationship to the Earth, which is how rides like Spaceship Earth and the now defunct Horizons came to be. The second part was that World Showcase, featuring pavilions sponsored by 9 different countries, with Norway and Morocco being added later on. But hold on everyone, Disney didn't completely scrap the idea of a picture-perfect futuristic neighborhood either. Back in the 90s, Disney tried out a watered-down version of Walt's original Utopia plans in Florida by creating Celebration, a community only a stone's throw away from the parks that took on a new urbanism approach, aka small town vibes but with neighborhood shops, restaurants, and facilities that you could easily walk to. Basically, if you didn't want to leave the neighborhood, you really didn't have to. However, in 2004, Disney sold Celebration to a private firm after the city failed to be the utopia they really wanted it to be. Not only were there several issues that popped up within the community, making it more of a dystopia, but it's also possible Disney simply wasn't making the return on investment that they'd originally expected from the project. Nowadays, Celebration continues to be privately owned and also continues to be a popular spot for tourists to wander about. Disney does, however, still own one private neighborhood, and this one's actually inside Disney World. Disney's Golden Oak is an upscale residential community completely designed by Imagineers. There are a lot of perks that come along with living in Golden Oak. Residents here can reserve tickets for special events in Disney World and get private VIP tours in the parks. Cast members can also help them book dining reservations, spa treatments, golf tee times, and other fun extras for their upcoming visits to the parks and resorts. Cast members also provide services for in-home dinners and parties at Golden Oak, and they'll even help out with those holiday decorations too. But these houses are not cheap by any means. Many of these homes can cost up to at least $16 million, and that's before you add in those extra HOA fees and annual club membership fees too. But wait, there's more to come. Now, Disney is working on creating story living neighborhoods, which set out to create vibrant new neighborhoods that are infused with Disney's special brand of magic, which is a lot of words that don't really make any sense. These master plan communities will bring some of the joys of the parks right into the neighborhood with specially designed spaces and lots of unique amenities. One of these communities is called Cotino and is going to be located in California. Much like the Celebration concept, Disney's doing a take 2 on the whole new urbanism approach, so this is going to become another neighborhood where you'll have a lot of Disney-fied amenities and easy to access community areas to give you big city vibes minus the big city grime. But why on earth is Disney building another utopian neighborhood when Celebration came back to bite them in the end? First of all, Celebration was built towards the beginning of the concept of new urbanism. In the 1990s, when Celebration was built, the concept was still really new and not many communities had utilized it. Now, Disney has the benefit of a few decades of research on the subject and many more models to examine in their creation of the new community. The company that will be working with Disney on this project, DMB Development, not Dave Matthews Band, by the way, also has several other successful new urbanist neighborhoods recently thriving as we speak, which can help guide the developers as they plan for this new project. If you're interested in buying a home in Cotino, which holy cow is going to cost a lot of money when it's all said and done, the residential areas will be open to homeowners of all ages, including at least one section specifically for ages 55 plus. According to Disney, you can choose from condominiums to cottages, grand and estate single-family homes. All right, so how do we manage to see so many animals on safari every time in Animal Kingdom? This is something that I am obsessed with. It is so cool how they have created this situation. So Kilimanjaro Safaris over at Disney's Animal Kingdom is a fan favorite for lots of reasons. The biggest, you're guaranteed to see a variety of real live animals without having to walk around an entire zoo to do so. Now, some Kilimanjaro ride-throughs are better than others. Sometimes the animals will be more lively and present, and if you're real lucky, you might even see a lion roar like we did. Such a goosebump-worthy experience. And other times you might see them out and about, but they'll kind of be lazy and lounging around in the shade to stay out of the heat. It's a big mood. But either way, you're gonna see multiple animals all at once. So how does Disney pull this off? Sorry to break it to you, but the animals don't come out to say hello out of the goodness of their hearts, but they do come out in exchange for treats. Also a big mood. On the savannah, Imagineers hang feeders and salt licks to encourage shy animals like giraffe and cattle and gazelles to come out and say hi. And how on earth are we almost always able to see the lions out on their personal pride rock? You gotta thank the Imagineers for that one too. Imagineers created a pipe system that produces cool air out of these particular rock formations, which gives the lions a comfortable spot to soak up the sun, catch a breeze, and still be in view for you to ooh and ah over. But more importantly, we've got a gaggle of predators and prey out here. So how do Imagineers keep the animals from, treating each other as afternoon snacks? There are a few different methods Disney uses to keep everyone, including guests, safe. Some of those methods include natural dividers like moats and well-disguised walls and other various water barriers. And if you want to make sure you see as many active animals as possible during your next Kilimanjaro Safari's ride-through, try heading this way in the morning or when there's a light drizzle going on, or in the late evening. During the heat of the day, the animals will be way more lethargic and not quite as willing to put on a show for us, but who can blame them? And since we're on the subject of Disney's savannas, let's head over to the full savannah over at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge and see what's going on over there. When the sun sets on your Disney day, you might think that the animals right outside Animal Kingdom Lodge would disappear against the dark, but that's not exactly the case. You see, the animals have a choice of whether or not they want to go back into their barns for the night. If they want to stay on the savannah, they can. And Disney Imagineers actually installed an artificial moonlight around the savannah area, meaning no matter what time of day you peek out the lobby windows or go on your Savannah View balcony, you should be able to catch a glimpse of the animals that decided to stay on the savannah for the night. According to the Disney website, Moonlight is created by 50 WPAR-20 metal halide fixtures. Please correct me in the comments if I didn't say that right, in order to view the animals at night. In order to really accentuate this artificial moonlight, the lighting around and inside the hotel is kept pretty dim in the evening. But don't worry, it's not dim enough you're going to feel like you're stumbling around in the dark or anything. It's just cozy. To really see this artificial moonlight in action, you can always book a Starlight Safari. This is an hour-long Jeep tour that takes place after the sun goes down and is available for all guests, even if you're not staying as a guest at the resort yourself. The tour is offered twice nightly, once at 8:30 p.m., once at 10 p.m. And just so you don't have to rely on the artificial moonlight alone, you will be provided with night vision goggles to get a clearer view of the 30 different species, including, but not limited to, zebras, giraffes, gazelles, antelopes, and flamingos. The price is $89 per guest, and you must be at least 8 years old to participate. All right. Is there really an abandoned island at Disney World? Disney World allows you to visit so many different realms. You can go to Pandora and Animal Kingdom, Batuu and Hollywood Studios, Tomorrowland and Magic Kingdom, or China, Japan, France, Italy, etc. in Epcot. But some realms in Disney remain off limits to guests, including the former Discovery Island. Now, Discovery Island, which was originally known as the Treasure Island Nature Preserve, is located right in the middle of Bay Lake. Now, more than likely, you're not going to see this neglected island during your Disney World trip. But if you decide to travel by water taxi to Magic Kingdom from Wilderness Lodge or vice versa, then you will see it, or at least a glimpse of it if you're paying attention. Before it closed, Discovery Island had botanical settings and all kinds of wildlife, including eagles and alligators, swans, and deer for guests to come admire. It also had a large aviary for guests to walk through with bird shows and demonstrations. Basically, it was the Animal Kingdom before Animal Kingdom. And when Animal Kingdom did open in 1998, it took a lot of the spotlight away from Discovery Island. By 1999, Discovery Island closed its figurative doors. The animals were all relocated, but the buildings at this spot have simply been left there, abandoned. Unfortunately, knowing that there's this abandoned area directly inside Disney World property is like forbidden fruit to some. The New York Times even reported a story back in 2020 about a man who took a boat over to this tropical wasteland to grab some footage of it, despite there being several no trespassing signs that he must have conveniently overlooked. Disney takes this kind of negligence for their rules pretty seriously, however, so when authorities caught this guy camping out there, he was banned from all Disney properties, as well as charged with a misdemeanor count for trespassing. Now, if you're sitting there going, wait a minute, I could have sworn I visited Discovery Island just recently, then you're probably not wrong. The heart of Disney's Animal Kingdom is actually called Discovery Island, which is where you'll find the Discovery Trading Company gift shop, Nomad Lounge and Tiffin's, the Discovery Island trails, and of course, the majestic Tree of Life itself. So out with the old, in with the new. What happens to the old furniture and props when things get renovated in Disney World? Well, a bunch of major renovations and projects have been happening around Disney World lately, including several remodels at the hotels. But as Disney updates the lobbies and rooms of these locations, what happens to its former decor? Do they just chuck it? Do they stow it away in a junk closet? Do they break it all up and use it to light their campfires? No, but that last one would have been a hoot. According to Disney, many times when Disney World reimagines a resort or anywhere else on property, the furniture and other items will go to cast member exclusive stores, like Property Control and Cast Connections. The only way you'll be able to enter Cast Connections is if A, you're a cast member yourself, or B, you're visiting as a guest, but the cast member who invited you has to tag along too. Cast Connections is going to be more focused on the smaller discontinued items like 50th anniversary name tags or retired merchandise or even Fort Wilderness groceries. Not kidding. Meanwhile, Property Control is for cast members only and is where you're going to find those defunct Disney ride props and resort furniture for sale. But let's say you're not a cast member and you don't know any cast members that you can buddy up with that'll let you browse around Cast Connections. Is there any other way you can get retired Disney items for a discount price? Well, actually, yeah. It's possible you may be able to find Disney props on sale online through the Heritage Auctions website. At the end of March this year, Disney art directors Kevin Kidney and Jody Daly were selling over 100 items from their archives as part of their The Art of Disneyland auction. Please feel free to get some for me. We spotted everything from character concepts to models of ride vehicles to replicas of cast member uniforms, like a treasure trove for big-time collectors. When we see these types of auctions taking place, we make sure to update you over on Disney Food Blog, but it never hurts to check out Heritage Auctions yourself just to see what you might stumble across from time to time. Not big on auctions? No worries, you're not out of luck yet. Over at Disney's Character Warehouse, which has 2 locations outside the Disney bubble, one at Orlando Vineland Premium Outlets and one at Orlando International Premium Outlets, you can find overstock or out-of-season souvenirs straight from the parks at a mostly discounted price. You're probably not going to find straight-up resort furniture here or anything, but it is a nice way to get authentic Disney merchandise for way less than you'll find it inside the park's gift shops. Now, let's talk about a hotel that possibly many of you haven't stayed in. Disney's Saratoga Springs. It tends to be out of sight, out of mind most of the time, but it's actually a resort with tons of Disney World history. Remember all our talk about Walt's original Epcot plans? Even after Walt's passing, the idea of creating community inside the Disney bubble wasn't ever completely swept under the rug. Thus, the Buena Vista Land Company was formed. The original purpose of the Saratoga Springs area and their treehouse villas was to become a community filled with vacation homes and easy-to-access Disney facilities, kind of like story living before story living. According to our friends over at allears.net, a great deal of work went into this project, including the creation of townhomes, single-family homes, and the tree houses themselves, before corporate lawyers pointed out that landowners of Lake Buena Vista would be entitled to voting rights in regards to Disney World projects and construction, and that didn't sit right with Disney. So for a while there, guests could actually rent out these full-on homes while vacationing at Disney. In 1984, this area went from being a place where guests just rented home to a place where guests could take educational seminars thanks to the Disney Institute. Now, the Disney Institute, which a lot of you probably know about, was set in motion by former CEO Michael Eisner and was located adjacent to the existing villas. Guests participating in the educational seminars could use the accommodations that were already established there. As the ideas for the Institute expanded, other buildings were added to the town, including a health club and spa, a 225-seat performing arts center, a 400-seat movie theater, a 1,150-seat amphitheater, 28 state-of-the-art program studios or classrooms, a closed-circuit TV station, DITV, and a radio station, WALT. When the Institute first opened, a 3-night minimum stay was required if you wanted to bunk in one of the Lake Buena Vista vacation homes. However, staying here was not a requirement if you wanted to take a class or two. Though guests who attended the Institute had plenty of positive things to say about it, most people who traveled to the Orlando area were more interested in not thinking about school. They were there to vacation and enjoy the parks. So not too long after Disney decided to retire the Institute in 2002, the property took on its third and final evolution, becoming Disney's Saratoga Springs by May 2004. Though Saratoga Springs is a DVC resort, meaning it can be a home resort for those who are members of the Disney Vacation Club program, anyone is able to rent a room here, DVC member or not. You can even rent a room here for potentially way cheaper than usual as a non-DVC member if you book through a reliable third-party site like David's DVC Rentals, which helps connect non-DVC members looking to save hundreds on their upcoming stay with actual Disney Vacation Club members who need to rent out their unused vacation points before they go to waste. You can learn more about these services by watching our Disney World Hotel Secret That Could Save You Hundreds video right after this. Now, did River Country actually close because of a brain-eating amoeba? Well, Disney's first ever water park stuck around for 25 years before shutting up shop for good. But what actually happened here? And where did the brain-eating amoeba rumor stem from? Well, River Country opened in 1976 and was themed as Tom Sawyer's Swimming Hole. The park included several attractions like giant water slides, a lazy river, sand bottom lake, and a water play area with tire swings. But after closing for its scheduled annual winter refurbishment in November 2001, River Country never reopened its gates. One of the most popular conspiracy theories behind the permanent closure was rather disturbing. Many believed that the water park was infested with deadly brain-eating amoebas, and in some ways this wasn't as big of a jump as you might want it to be. After all, most of the park's water wasn't chlorinated. Instead, it was primarily filled with lake water sourced from the adjacent Bay Lake. And you know what lake water can potentially harbor? Yep, deadly amoebas. Unfortunately, an 11-year-old boy did contract a fatal case of amoebic meningoencephalitis, allegedly from Bay Lake, which likely made this rumor spread like wildfire. But since this tragedy occurred in 1980, 21 years before the park closed, this wasn't actually the culprit of River Country's silent closure. Though Disney never came out and said it straight up, the most likely reason that River Country never reopened probably had to do with money. The tourism industry was hit hard after the 9/11 attacks in New York City, and since Disney had already opened 2 other water parks, Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach, River Country probably just couldn't generate enough traffic to stick around, and so River Country faded into the sunset. Luckily, we can continue to get our water park fill over at Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach, which are still thriving today. Tickets for the water parks cost $69 for adults and $64 for kids. And you don't even have to make a park pass reservation after you buy those tickets to guarantee a spot in either park. Just show up when you can during your vacation and you'll be good to go. Now, this next behind the scenes FYI is a little more positive than that one. What happens with all the wishing well coins in Disney World? Maybe wishing on a star isn't your thing. Maybe wishes on coin tosses are more your style. And if they are, your well wishes will benefit not just you, but thousands of others. All of the coins tossed into the wells and water rides and water features in Disney World are regularly collected and donated to charities in Central Florida. In fact, in November of 2020, Disney World donated about $20,000 in coins from its wishing wells and fountains to the Coalition for the Homeless of Central Florida. And in 2022, Disney donated $30,000 to Give Kids the World Village, a nonprofit resort in Central Florida that provides week-long cost-free vacations to children with critical illnesses. So that toss of your nickels and dimes into Cinderella's wishing well might not seem like a big deal to you, but when you start adding all those wishing coins together, dreams really do come true. So Big Thunder Mountain Railroad tells you to best remove your sunglasses before the ride for a reason. Sunglasses are notorious for flying off your head during coasters, getting left behind in ride pouches, being accidentally abandoned at a restaurant, or maybe even just slipping out of your back pocket. According to Disney, around 210 pairs of sunglasses are turned into Magic Kingdom's Lost and Found every single day. So how can you prevent becoming part of the statistic? First, invest in a cheapo strap for your sunglasses, especially if you plan on taking them on and off repeatedly throughout the day. You can find sunglass straps at those big box stores or on Amazon for around $5 to $8. Instead of putting sunglasses on the front pocket of your ride seat, plan to put them in your park bag instead. It's easier to forget a small pair of sunglasses, but it's a lot harder to forget a bag that's sitting right there between your feet. If you are prone to losing your sunglasses like me, don't bring super expensive ones to the parks. Losing your $20 Target sunglasses is one thing, but losing your limited edition Ray-Bans is a whole other beast. And 4, if you do lose your sunglasses, make sure you know where the park's Lost and Found services are located, just in case a kind soul decides to turn them in instead of keep them. Each Lost and Found area is labeled on the Disney World website. I'll link the page down below for you. And if you want to start the search even before you reach the Lost and Found area, fill out a report at chargerback.com. This website will ask you a series of questions about your missing items so cast members can be on the hunt for it while you continue on with your vacation. Chargerback will send you emails with the lost item claim number, and after 48 hours, the team will email you again with updates on the status of your poor rogue sunnies. Now, I had a great experience with Chargerback. I actually left a bunch of clothes in a hotel room and I got them all back, and I was the happiest clam in the world because this was stuff I couldn't rebuy. So we here at DFB are strong supporters of living with the land being not just a must-do experience, but a life-changing one in Epcot. But we can also be dramatic when it comes to our love for this slow-going boat ride. But living with the land is more than just a ride. As you float on by, learning about the history of farming and cultivating, you'll also float through a series of greenhouses that are more than just props. These are actual functioning greenhouses growing real-life fruits and veggies and plants that Disney actually uses in their various restaurants like Garden Grill and festival booths around Epcot. If you want to get an even closer look at how Disney continues to keep their produce happy and healthy and ready for guests to take a bite out of, you might want to consider taking the Behind the Seeds tour, which is the only way you'll be able to legally walk around the Disney greenhouses during a 1-hour guided tour. You can book this tour ahead of time for just $35 per guest, which is actually the cheapest backstage tour you're going to find on Disney World property. But you do still need to have a valid theme park ticket and Epcot Park Pass to participate. Sometimes this tour may have last-minute availability too, so if you want to check and see if you can get one of those first-come, first-served spots, head over to the tour desk at the Land Pavilion just outside the exit to Living with the Land to see if the odds are ever in your favor. All right, let's start some trash talk, y'all. What does Disney do with all its garbage? Magic Kingdom takes their trash very seriously. So seriously, in fact, that they've created this vacuum underground tube system to make sure all garbage is thoroughly disposed of. The AVAX system, which stands for Automated Vacuum Assisted Collection System, was imported from Sweden. This system is made up of giant tubes that hang from the ceilings of the utilidors that we were talking about earlier. These tubes help move trash from 13 drop-off points around Magic Kingdom to one central location. Every 20 minutes, Disney vacuums the trash through the tubes. So you know how I mentioned that there are cast members always walking underneath you while you're at the park? There's also trash flying under your feet through tubes at around 35 miles per hour. It's actually been reported that an average of more than 80,000 pounds of trash actually runs through the AVAX system each day. That's a whole lot of Mickey Premium Bar wrappers and Starbucks cups. One last bonus trash fact for you, because I know you want it. When Walt Disney was first designing the parks, he decided to station a trash can every 30 feet. Why 30 feet? Well, Walt tested how long it would take him to eat a hot dog from start to finish while walking, and the time it took him was 30 feet. That way, you don't have any excuse for discarding your food wrappers anywhere other than a trash can, because there should be one nearby at all times. So, has Seven Seas Lagoon always been a thing? You've got to cross Seven Seas Lagoon in order to reach Magic Kingdom. But this historic lagoon has a secret. It is actually man-made. Okay, maybe that's not a super huge and incriminating secret or anything, but it's still an interesting story. More than 7 million cubic yards of earth was moved to create this famous body of water. But what's most interesting is where that earth that was removed actually ended up. This section of earth was wildly enough used to cover the utilidor level at Magic Kingdom, so the construction of Seven Seas Lagoon directly helped create the multi-level park we know and love today. But Seven Seas Lagoon isn't just around to be sailed across. You can also watch the nightly electric water pageant here too. The electric water pageant makes its way around Seven Seas Lagoon between 8:25 and 10:30 p.m., floating past the nearby Magic Kingdom area resorts, including Disney's Grand Floridian, Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, Disney's Wilderness Lodge, Disney's Four Wilderness, and Disney's Contemporary Resort. So, as I always warn you about, if you have little kids who need to go to sleep early, please note that if you have a lake view room at Contemporary Resort, that parade is really loud, and it may wake them up at 10:30 at night. Now, why are Main Street USA's sidewalks red? There isn't just one singular reason for Disney's decision to paint the Main Street USA sidewalks red. There are several, and I'm not sure they're painted. I think it's just colored concrete. First and foremost, you may not have realized this, but Magic Kingdom is set up like a theater. That's why Disney employees are referred to as cast members, and the uniforms they wear are costumes. Your signature on the receipts of restaurants or gift shops is an autograph, and the smellitzers of popcorn and sweets greet you as you enter the park. So it only makes sense for the sidewalks leading you deeper into the story experience to be modeled after the iconic Hollywood red carpet. Another reason for the red is for important safety measures. The red provides a stark difference from the middle of the gray street to alert your brain that, hey, there's a curb here, I better not trip over that. And the last reason? It just looks really nice in pictures. Just ask Kodak, who handpicked that color themselves. The red sidewalk really pops against the nice blue Florida skies, making your Cinderella Castle pictures all the more eye-catching. You'll find several PhotoPass cast members all the way down Main Street USA waiting to take a picture of you and your group, but if you'd rather not pay almost $20 for that professional picture, you can always ask the cast member to take a photo of you and your group on your phone instead at no extra cost to you. And what's so important about the Walt Disney World Railroad? When it comes to trains, Disney does not mess around, and that's because Walt Disney loved all things locomotives so much. You know this. He even built a personal railroad in his own backyard. When you ride on the Walt Disney World Railroad in Magic Kingdom, you'll be boarding a restored, authentic, antique steam-powered train originally built back in the 1910s and 1920s. In their past life, these trains once hauled sugarcane for the United Railways of Yucatan and Mexico. Eventually, they were spotted by Disney Scouts back in the 1960s and brought back to Disney. Though the Walt Disney World Railroad was closed for 4 years while Tron Lightcycle Run was being built and while construction was being delayed by the 2020 pandemic, It reopened back in December, creating merriment and fanfare for all. Now the train goes through a brand new tunnel that travels past Tron. The number 1 engine has been completely refurbished. The wooden railroad ties have been replaced with composite ties. Fresh railroad tracks have been laid down, and new audio narration is now played over the train's speakers. In short, the railroad received some much-needed TLC, but it is back and ready to take you around the park. Okay, you've now received a full behind-the-scenes tour without having to leave your couch. Not a bad deal. Keep checking back here with us as we continue to dig up even more Disney secrets and help build your ever-growing repertoire of theme park knowledge. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.